Welcome to another Indie Dev Showcase, highlighting the many indie games we play here on the channel. If you'd like to submit a game for a future video, please reach out. But otherwise, let's begin. We're beginning this week with Tombwater. This is a top-down shooting Souls-like. You've come to a town looking for your friend and find that, well, everyone's gone mad, monsters are roaming, and you're going to have to slice and shoot your way through. The footage you're seeing is based off of the demo that we checked out. The game was released, and we have not had a chance to play the full build of it. So, our gameplay here is focusing again on the Souls-like formula. You'll explore the town looking for items, equipment, and shortcuts to open. Now, having the focus on both gun and sword is a very interesting take. You rebuild your bullets by smacking enemies in melee, and a huge part of this is knowing which enemies you can safely smack and which ones it's just better to stand back and shoot. There is leveling up, and of course you'll be able to kind of spec yourself in different ways. And this one does appear to be a bit on the challenging side. You are going to be outnumbered very fast in this, and you have to get good at dodging and avoiding kind of like the rapid attacks that the enemies will do. And that's not even until before we get to the kind of eldritch fights and bosses. This one I would like to see more about how it turned out, and if you're in the mood for some challenging westerns and supernatural shooting, I would give this one a try. We go to a different kind of action next with Anarchy Road. This footage is from the demo that we checked out, but the main game has been released. This is an action driving game. It is a post-apocalypse, and you are trying to survive any way that you can, and you're going to have to drive very fast, collect resources, and trying to crash into too many things along the way. The game frames itself as kind of a chapter-by-chapter story. With each chapter, you'll be driving around, trying to collect different reactor cores that kind of act as your progression MacGuffin. All the while, trying to stay on the track while many different events happen. There are multiple characters to play as, and as someone who is not the best at racing and driving games, it was still pretty solid for me. I'm definitely interested to see where the main game did eventually end up, but I would definitely recommend at least a demo if you're in the mood to do some racing and maybe a little bit of crashing along the way. We leave the action behind for some puzzle solving with AXYZ. This is a kind of gravity and perspective based puzzle game. You are exploring a variety of synthware-esque worlds, trying to get from beginning to end, collect all the MacGuffins along the way. The rules are that you can move up and around any object provided that you have kind of the means of rolling. So there's not like a wireframe blocking it, you can roll up, down, sideways, and so on. You can jump over a single tile distance, and you can also leap down onto platforms below. And your job is to get through these levels and collect as many of the items as you can. Like a lot of these puzzle games, it starts out fairly simple, but soon you'll be having to worry about perspective, 3D, and verticality on top of everything. And overall, I would say this is a very solid puzzle game. It's not going to do anything that I think you haven't already seen, but the kind of 90s synthware aesthetic is charming enough, and there's going to be a lot of variety for puzzle fans looking to do a lot of perspective shifting in their puzzle games. We have another puzzle game up next with Projected Dreams. This is a kind of like object manipulation style game. You are trying to recreate the shadow that is being projected on the wall using whatever objects you can find in your house, or specifically whatever room you're in. Your goal is to match it as accurately as you can in order to get your coveted 3-star reward. There are bonus items you can find while you're looking for the things that you need, and this is one of those games that it does a great job kind of skirting that line between kind of being more on the casual side, but having some challenge to it. Now, you're dealing with kind of a simulated or artificial physics of some of these objects, so it can be tricky sometimes when you're trying to get something to stand just right, but it keeps falling over or rolling over. But still, a really great concept for a puzzle game that, it does a really fantastic job that you can definitely play this if you are brand new, but there's certainly a lot of advanced elements you can do if you're looking for a little bit more challenge with it. So, if you're in the mood for some, I guess, nighttime relaxing puzzles, I would give this one a play. And now we go to Hyper Sentinel Fusion. The footage you're seeing is taken from the demo and may not represent the current version of it or the game when it is released. This is an arcade-inspired action game, where your job is to take out massive ships from outside and then going inside to finish them off, all while collecting resources to power up your little vessel here to make it go pew pew even more. The general loop of this, again, is kind of reminds you of some like the older like NES games I played, and again, the arcade. You'll have to balance collecting lives, dealing with the enemies, and spending as much time as you can within each ship to collect the resources that you need. There will be boss fights when you go up against larger ships, and the demo I think does a good job of showing off the gameplay loop, but I didn't quite see, I guess, like how far the main game is going to go. Both in terms of how complicated it will be to move around in the ships, and then how hard the boss fights and kind of ship attacks from the outside are going to be. But it's still a very charming game, and I am interested in checking it out more when it is released. So another easy recommendation for the modern retro fans in the audience. And for the last game of our showcase, we go to Become the Moon. In a surprising twist, you're not trying to destroy the moon, you're trying to become it. And you're going to get into a variety of auto battlers with other characters in order to take that spot. This is an auto battler roguelike, where you'll choose a starting character and then try to create a build and deck that will take you all the way to the moon. After each battle, you'll be able to acquire new characters, new artifacts, and so on. And like with the other auto battler roguelikes we've played, you'll line your characters up from left to right. Characters will oftentimes have synergies related to either certain positions, certain other characters on the board, and so on. And your job is to figure this all out and try to create that game-winning engine that will take you all the way to the finish line. Now, as someone who's not a huge fan of auto battler style games, this one doesn't quite work for me. Again, it's one of those titles where you're going to win until you don't. And when that happens, there's not much else you can really do other than to restart. You don't really have any control over what's happening in the middle of the battles themselves. And again, this is more about the pre-planning and setting things up, rather than high stakes or min-max play along those lines. I do really like the kind of like hand-drawn art style that the game is going for, and if you are a fan of auto battlers, I would say this is definitely worth a check, but if you're like me, then this trip to the moon may be a little too large for you to take. And with that, another showcase comes to an end. You'll find links to all the games down below. If you did play these, let me know what you thought of them. Let me tell you your game for a future stream and showcase, be sure to get in touch, and we're always looking for more games from first-time developers to check out for our debut devs events. So once again, thank you for watching, and be sure to come back for more design talks and indie games coming soon. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more in my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.